Hello, America and the world. We're back with an update. I've been on the phone with Rob Everson and Tim Dever with the People's Bureau of Investigation. And so we're getting ready to make a call over to Berry County Sheriff's Department. They received service on the 22nd, and we don't even know if they've opened the mail. And they know they're in court. And it would appear that Darleaf has decided to go into hiding or to not respond. And it looks like he's getting some really bad advice. So we need some questions answered because Jason Sixberry has his name on there as a respondent. He has not been at any of the meetings. He has not been at on any of the calls. And I'm concerned that maybe Sheriff Dar is neglecting informing Jason of the situation that he's in. So through the process, Sheriff Dar is shown quite a bit of maladministration. For example, I called his office on the 9th of December. He has not returned a call to me. I was on a conference call that I got called in on a few days ago, and I had a conversation with Sheriff Darleaf. He scheduled that we would talk the next day. The next day passed. We haven't heard from him. We've been trying to contact him, and so far, no contact. So I'm obviously troubled by the fact that we have so many treasonous men in positions of authority and governance, and that the ones that we rely on to protect us and to provide the peace and to uphold the law as our sheriff. And here in Kalkaska, we got a treasonous house full of them. So the other thing is that should Sheriff Darleaf not respond, by acquiescence, he admits to the charges brought against him. And so all the people in that department, if they continue going into work, get a paycheck, and supporting that man, it is my opinion, they're giving aid and comfort to the enemy. So they need to be made aware of the situation. That document clearly says it is to be shared. Notice to agent, notice to principal, notice to principal, notice to agent. Do not suppress it. All that wording is in there. So we want to find out what's going on, because the men, they went down to Sheriff Dar's constitutional meeting, which we have video up on. That crowd in there, they certainly don't understand constitutional law, and they give a lot of bad advice. And I believe that Sheriff Dar is surrounded by gatekeepers, including Sheriff Mack, who I have offered to come on the line, go live. Let's see what we got here. Okay, I'll look at that later. So we want to know what's going on, and of course we're concerned about these other people, Jason Sixberry and the staff of Darleaf's department. So hang on, the phone should be ringing any second now. One of the things that I did that's not talked about much but I have talked about it, is I provided a notice of mailing. And this is an affidavit. It's a court of record document facilitated by the notary jurat. And it lists every document that they are in receipt of through proper service. So I get the impression that from talking with Darley's ombudsman, who told me I can ignore you. Well, sure, you can. You called me. Yeah, you can ignore me. I wasn't looking to talk with you anyways. Roger, I'm looking to hear from Darleaf and Jason Sixberry. Now, he can ignore me as well. And he can ignore the court and admit treason. Admit that charge can be used against him. And then court is over. No court can rehear this. And then when we get our grand juries, Darleaf will come in for sentencing. Not for a re-argument, not for a retrial, not for a mistrial. No, none of that. Common law is harsh, and it's swift justice. And this is what all Americans need to understand. There's going to be a big paradigm shift going forward. You are a free people, but you have been enslaved through brainwashing, literally brainwashing. And it's been going on for generations. There's some other really very, very interesting developments happening. I'm not at liberty to talk about right now, but maybe you can tell by the look on my face. I'm feeling very inspired by the good Lord and the gifts that the good Lord brings with new people, new conversations. So, one thing for sure, we're going hard. Oh, here's the call. All right. Hello, Tim.
Hey, brother. So, I'm just getting situated here. I'm gonna bring in Rob, and we'll bring in the sheriff. I have never done live YouTube and Google and Rumble, so we're gonna do both of those for the first time on my end here. I see how to do it on YouTube. Can you tell me how to do it on Rumble? Can you tell me where I go to get live on YouTube? You're familiar, obviously.
You on the computer or the phone?
I'm on the computer.
On the top right hand of your screen, up in the white portion, there should be something to click on with regards to go live or record. It may not have words. It may just be an icon. It's
okay. There's a create upload live.
Yep.
Go live. Got it. So I'm just gonna go live. I've never done this, so all right, I'm gonna go live here.
All right, so it's gonna pull you up a title box and a description box.
Okay.
Fill that in and then hit next.
Okay, so it says it's being accessed by another app, so I can't do exactly what I wanted to do because I got this other thing rolling, so I'll shut that off. Okay, now it allows me to do this. So,
and there's a scroll bar on the right-hand side. I don't have to change anything, and but there is other information that's not showing on your screen. You got to scroll to look at it. and I can't tell you what it is. It might have something to do with public or private, or it might have something to do with this or that. I'm not sure. But I don't scroll down anymore to look at it.
Okay.
And then when you get that one done, you just hit next, and I think that one's going to ask you if this is for kids or not.
Yeah, right.
And then you hit, and there might be something to scroll. I think you can scroll down there and look to see if there's anything that you want to check. And you hit next, and then the next one I think is to set the speed for the comments if you want to slow it down. And
Okay.
then the next one will bring you up when you hit next. It'll bring you to the screen to go live.
I probably can't do Rumble at the same time because they're going to utilize the same camera or something, I'm guessing. So
yeah, just post it up after.
right. How long do you want to participate between sending messages? Slow mode, 60 seconds. No. Whatever. Okay. Public, everyone can watch. Okay. All right. All right. So going live. I guess we're live now. So we're going live here. We're going to be contacted. Let a couple people get in. I've never done it, so I have no idea what to expect or what happens. But we are going live. We're going to be contacting this. You can see on this other monitor over here, Berry County, Michigan. The sheriff has been served notice in the common law court record.
No, he's been brought into court.
Brought into court, correct. I'm sorry. And we're going to be reaching out to his department here shortly. I've got Ethan Dean on the phone. We're representing him and as a mediator between the sheriff. He is the emergency executive manager of Michigan during a time of war here, basically. And we've been mediating for about a week. Last Thursday, a week ago, we met with the sheriff and a bunch of constitutionalists in his neck of the woods and on his time, and we gave him an advance notice. We gave him a few days prior to officially serving notice with registered or certified letters. So he has only got another 24 hours to respond to this notice, and he's been given orders to show up in Kalkaska County and take care of business for treason. And he's apparently gone dark. We're communicating consistently for the last week, and now apparently he's getting some bad advice, obvious bad advice that he shouldn't be following. I'm going to ring in Rob here, Ethan, and then I'll contact the sheriff's office. Let me get another agent, PBI agent Rob, on the phone.
Right on. All right, we'll just be quiet and hold back till you come back.
Gotta get him.
Took a little coffee down the wrong way. The fellas will be back online real soon here.
I'm going to be calling the Berry County, Michigan office right now. And then Ethan, you could pick up from there.
Yeah.
Here we go. Stand by, stand by. I got to find a different number, apparently. I've called this. Do you have the number handy, Ethan?
I can get it.
Yeah, then I got a lot here trying to make all this come together. And I've called it. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So
You ready?
No longer talking to us. Yeah. One second. Yeah, go ahead.
269 948 4801.
Okay. 269-948-4801.
Yep.
Okay. Add and call. Stand by.
Standing by. Ice falling off the roof.
Sure, County Sheriff's Office. Yes, is Sheriff Dar in, please? Can I speak to the sheriff? I'm sorry, can you say that again? Sheriff Dar, please. He's not here. Do you want his voicemail? No. What about the undersheriff? Is he available? No, not on Christmas Eve. Who am I speaking to, if I can ask? Sergeant Lehman. Hi, Sergeant. My name's Tim Dever with the People's Bureau of Investigation. You're on a recorded line. I have another agent from Michigan on the phone, and I have a gentleman named Ethan Dean. He's the emergency executive manager for Michigan. We've sent notice yesterday.
No, we sent we sent express mail that was received at the front desk 12/22/2021 2:10 and signed for.
Okay.
And we want to know, has that mail been opened?
I have no idea. I didn't work yesterday.
Okay, well, there is a there.
Who was it addressed to?
It was addressed to your sheriff's department, and
just the generic sheriff's office, Berry County Sheriff's Office. No specific person.
I haven't got the card back. I believe it's addressed to the Berry County Sheriff's Department.
Okay, I would assume that it would have gone to sheriff's assistant, undersheriff, sheriff, possibly a lieutenant, but unfortunately our office is closed and none of them are here.
All right. Well, the receiving of that put Sheriff Dar and Jason Sixberry in a court of record.
Okay.
They have 72 hours to respond. Failure to respond by acquiescence, they agree to the charges of treason. Jason Sixberry has not been involved in any of the phone calls. He has not been involved. He was not involved at the meeting when Tim and Rob came down and met. And Jason is named and as a respondent as well. And if he doesn't know about this, that's a very big problem. Now, Sheriff Dar office received a call from me December 9th. He has not called me back. And the other day when we were speaking in a group call, Sheriff Dar said, let's talk tomorrow. And tomorrow came and went.
Okay.
He knows he's in court.
Let me put you into the undersheriff's voicemail. You can leave a message for him. Can you reach out to Dar and the undersheriff, because this is urgent? I'm sure you have ability to communicate with them directly, because he's putting you and everyone in jeopardy in your entire office there if he has not communicated this information to you, because he's required to notify everybody there as to what's happening. And by not doing so, if you're not aware of this and the undersheriff's not aware of this, you're all in jeopardy. So So yeah, I would recommend for your security that you contact the undersheriff and have him contact us, because Sheriff Dar has gone dark. We're in communications. We're all on the same page. And apparently he's been given some bad advice, and he's decided to drop communications with us and pretend that we don't exist. So there's some heavy duty stuff going on right now, and I'm looking out for your benefit. I would recommend that you get a hold of the undersheriff and have him contact us immediately, or we can hold while you conference him in.
Okay, I'm not going to call him on New Year's. If you want to talk to him on his voicemail, I'll put you into that. You want to leave him a message, I'll shoot him a text to let him know that message is in his voicemail.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I can't make anybody above me, the sheriff or undersheriff, listen to anything. I don't have the ability to change them.
I'm just trying to help you, help them, and help yourself. So that'd be great if we can get his voicemail, and then you can text him and say there's a pretty important voicemail that I think you should listen to. I think that would help everybody involved.
Okay, I'll put you in there and I'll shoot him a text. Like I said, I can't promise you that they're going to call you back. I can't force them to. I work for them. They don't work for me. So.
We understand.
Okay. All right. Hang on just a minute.
I'll let you leave the voicemail there, Ethan. Well, I'll start it, and then I guess you could jump in and finalize it.
All right.
Hopefully, we won't get cut off by some timer, right?
Right.
So I'll be brief. What happened?
This is Under Sheriff Jason Sixberry. I'm not available at this time. Please leave your name and contact information, and I will get back with you.
Please leave a message at the tone. When finished, you may hang up or press pound for additional options.
Hi, this is Tim Dever with the People's Bureau of Investigation. I'm on a recorded line with Rob Emerson, an agent out of Michigan, and Ethan Dean, Emergency Executive Manager of Michigan. He's going to leave a message for you. I think it's urgent that you contact us. He'll leave phone numbers accordingly. My number is 630-774-0060. Go ahead, Ethan.
Yes, sir. Your front desk received service 12/22/2021 at 2:10. You are in court, sir. You have 72 hours from that date and timestamp to respond. Failure to respond by acquiescence, you admit to guilt of treason. Are you aware of any of this? We have been in contact with Sheriff Dar for over a week, probably 2 weeks. He's well aware of the situation, and
we met with him,
and he's gone dark. Now, if this is being suppressed from you, this should be a very big concern for you, sir. There's maladministration in your office. I called on the 9th. I have not received a call back. We don't know if the mail has been opened, and you are in court, common law court, the highest court, the people's court, a court of record, not an administrative court where your bailiffs go. My number is 231-624-3037. This is most urgent, and it also affects your staff. If the two of you are guilty of treason and your staff continues to come into work and receive pay, they're giving aid and comfort to those who admit guilt of treason. This is very serious. Thank you. We look forward to hear from you. Go ahead and hang it up, Tim. All right. Well, I guess that closes it out for the conference call as well. He couldn't just end that call and keep the conference going. So, okay, this is up to date. We're going to keep you posted with lives as we go through this, so you can see all the incompetence that exists within within our governance. Oh, here comes Tim. All right. Hey.
The conference, Robin. We try to do this very diplomatically, and by showing up out there.
We're still live.
Yeah, I am as well.
Okay.
I went to Michigan and met with the sheriff and his group of people who are claiming that they're constitutionally minded. You know, Sheriff Starr is billed as the constitutional sheriff. He joined the CSPOA, the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association that Sheriff Mack is establishing throughout the United States. I was advised by Sheriff Mack that he was a constitutional guy and he's the best guy in all the United States. We had conversation with him, and then, as it turns out, we thought he was on board with what's happening. The charges of treason that the emergency executive manager has produced for all to see, because treason is big in Michigan. I mean, we're talking about treason. Well, you can go ahead and explain that, Ethan, as far as the vast number of treasonous individuals, and it looks like we're adding at least one or potentially an undersheriff. It looks like, well, he's got to tomorrow 2 p.m. to respond to these charges that are now officially been sent certified mail. We did, like I said, try to do this for him and explain to him the tornado and the storm was coming. It was on the horizon, and the PBI is acting as a mediator between, as I said, Ethan and the people of Michigan, I should say, Ethan being the executive manager and Sheriff Darr. And everything was going well, but apparently he's got some bad advice, and he is going 100% dark, won't respond to text messages, won't take phone calls, and he's got mere hours before he's admitting guilt by not reaching out to us and by not contacting us or rebuting his charges. So if he doesn't rebut the charges, he's admitting guilt and he's acquiesced. So that's where we're at. And that timeline is tomorrow. He has orders to come up to Kalkaska County and arrest the sheriff of Kalkaska County and basically secure that establishment for the treason that's occurred there. We've got people in the military, Brigadier General that has been received the same charges, and they've ignored these charges in the common law court. And they've hidden, and we had a conversation with somebody there just yesterday or just the other day, and he basically said he had to go to a Christmas party and eventually hung up the phone. So there's vast treason, and it involves Gretchen Whitmer. I'll let Ethan discuss what's actually what's happening, so people here can be aware.
All right. Well, for those of you who hearing all this stuff for the first time, this is more than Michigan. This is for America. This is actually for mankind. This is actually for mammals. Back in 2015, I discovered how to get optimal oral health with cannabis. We rejuvenate gum tissue. We prevent gum tissue loss. And at that time, science had given up on it and put it in writing in the United States National Library. If you have lost gum tissue, it's gone forever and not coming back. Additionally, we take care of tooth decay by the removal and prevention of calcified oral plaques. And government has been doing a great job of suppressing this. $1.8 billion in funding to find another way. Years and years of attacks. So I learned common law. I learned how to hold court. We have held court with many, and including Gretchen Whitmer. Gretchen Whitmer admits in a court of record that we are at war, that she is warring with us. She admits in a court of record to the charges of treason and maladministration to be brought against her. I need her to be arrested, detained, and incarcerated. A jury assembled, a grand jury, to hear the testimony that was involved in the case. And they will probably want some explanation. And then they will make a determination to the charges for sentencing and for restitution, at which point Gretchen would be brought in before the panel and the judge would ask for the judge's determination. The 12 jurors are the judge, not the man in the black robe. So I served the arrest order for Gretchen, the Kalkaska County prosecutor, the top guy at the patent office, the DEA, and many others on June 28th this year. By the middle of July, the FBI is involved in a kidnapping plot of Gretchen Whitmer. Fast forward to today, there's a lot of stories about how weird this whole FBI thing is, that it was primarily FBI agents and FBI informants, and it would appear that it's entrapment of good Michigan men. And I hear some of those men have already encountered debt to these parasite bar attorneys of over $100,000 because of this. And the Kalkaska County prosecutor, Scoot Boogie, I believe it was in the middle of his third term. And he was out by July 31st. So what do? I go next. I went to the military. I went to the National Guard. And I put them in a court. And I gave them all the evidence of all the treason and an order. They disregarded everything and admit guilt to treason in a court of record. And we have that follow-up call recorded. It's available on my channel. Tim also has video of that out on his platforms. So it's there. And we're going to keep bringing this to you. We're not backing off.
Yeah, I think we should continue a discussion here to see if there is any element of emergency on Sheriff, the undersheriff, and he does call us back. I'm under the impression that he's well aware of what's going on, that the ombudsman told him and both Dar that we're going to pretend these documents that don't exist, and that's their position. That's their safe haven, if you will, in their far world that they exist in, that has captured us for 3 generations or more. So I think we should continue to discuss the whole situation that this is, and see if that call comes in. And then if it doesn't come in, and it came in later, we try and quick hurry and get back online with this. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think these people have made their decision, and they feel that, as they all do, well, we're caught red-handed, we're in a trap, and the best way to stay out of the trap is to stay in the bar system and discredit, once again, the supreme law of the land that isn't discreditable, but that's what they're doing time and time again, and that's what we experienced. Is it's just one after another of people just wishing that this all goes away, but you can't stop it. It can't be stopped, because people are waking up to the common law and the fact that it is superior than all of this corporate statutes and fakery that we've been experiencing, and we're calling them out. Basically, we see the magic act that's occurring. We see it right before our eyes, and we're letting everyone know we're victims of a vast black magic trickery that's been put on society since we were born. And now the people that have been involved in it, some people weren't even aware they were born into it. Like, I think these sheriffs, they're like, oh my God, I just wanted to be a peace officer and have a nice job. And now they're like, wait a minute, the whole system is is not what it appears to be. And that's where we're at. And then they're in shock. And they're victims. I mean, these sheriffs, these undersheriffs are victims of their circumstances. And they're in a box, and they don't like the box they're in. And we just got to keep pushing them further and further into the corner of the box until finally we get a guy that steps up, that mans up, and realizes that this is a war, and we have to take our country back. So,
yeah, and Sheriff Dar doesn't seem to have any sand or steel in his spine. And Jason Sixbury, if that is the case, you, sir, are obligated to jail that man and assume his position and contact me immediately.
The clock is indeed ticking, and we just wanted to put this out there where, Ethan's live on his channel. I'm live on this YouTube channel as well. We just wanted it to be disseminated so that people could be made aware that there are things happening, and the continuance of the bar and the corporate conundrum that we're in is constantly jamming things up. But if everyone just pours it on, eventually they cave in. When I talked to Sheriff Dar, and he was in receipt of our documents that we drove out and delivered to him, and I read it to him in front of his group. 2 days later, he still hadn't read them. And he told me the reason he hadn't read them is he's got too many FOIA requests. He's inundated with those. And this guy's been in this, I think he's been 4 terms or 3 or 4 terms. So he was probably at a time where one FOIA request came a month. And now he's in a spot where he's getting, I don't know, 10, 20, 100 a day. I have no idea, but it sounded like he was inundated with them. So the law affair that's going on, the filings, the requests for FOIA requests, and this ongoing, we are just crushing them, and we will continue to crush them to break their system where we'll have so many things filed with them, they won't even be able to manage them, and they'll just have to cave in to common law. That's the way I see it. Ethan's got an incredible document that everyone needs to go and distribute to their sheriffs, their cities, wherever they travel. If you travel between 3 cities, 3 towns to go to work, you got to distribute this to every single one of them because you travel through their area. If you get on the highway, you want to distribute it to the state police. And this document is a liability. I'll let Ethan explain it in detail. Why don't you explain what that document is, Ethan? Because if we get thousands or tens of thousands, what we want to do is get the audit guys to adopt this document. So Long Island Audit, I'm going to contact him shortly and advise him to get all his followers. He's got 150,000 followers. All of those people need to take this simple document that Ethan's created, get it notarized, go to their sheriff department, go to all the areas in which they travel, put them on notice of liability that if they encroach on their right to travel freely, unencumbered, they're protected, God's given right, protected by the Constitution. If they go and submit that to all these locations, and we do it in that kind of numbers, if the Long Island Audit guy can get 150,000 of his followers go do the same thing, we'll crush them right there. There'll be a line outside the door of each sheriff's office submitting these documents, and then we'll lecture them while we're doing the delivery, telling them, listen, we're in the common law, we're in the superior courts, we are you're our servants, we are the people, we have all power. You cannot deny that, and you cannot come against us. This document is incredible. I wish I could bring it up. I can't be live on YouTube. Normally I have this software running and I could superimpose. I could bring it up on this monitor here and kind of move the camera and show people exactly how it reads, or you could read it to them, Ethan, so that people know how powerful.
Actually, I'd let you read it. However, I'll explain a few things.
Okay, I'll try.
All right. So I want to explain a few things first before you read it. So what you're gonna hear Tim read is how we enter court, and then there will be a little bit of testimony after entering court, including article section from the Constitution, and I struggled with this document because I was making it state specific. However, you cannot have a right in Michigan that you don't have in Florida. You can't have a right in Virginia that you don't have in Wyoming. So all of our bills of rights and declarations of rights apply to all of us across the common land. So I was able to develop the language to create one document that all Americans can use. And I put it up on my website, oralhealthwithcannabis.com. And you might need to use DuckDuckGo because Google doesn't want to get you there. And on the services page, you can download that document. And then in the verification section, you need to adjust some areas regarding your county, your city or town or village, your state, your name, not mine, your name, and the date and the month. So if you get it done in December, you don't have to change the month. Anyways, you facilitate that with a notary jurat and keep your original and make copies. Now, there will be a couple of statements that Tim will get into. I believe the first one is, I am a free man by nature.
Yeah, I'll read it. I got it up here.
Okay, so when he gets to that, he's going to read a couple of points, and those are extremely, extremely important. You have immunity from arrest. What is arrest? Being stopped. You have liberty interest, freedom. You have franchise on your rights. It takes a oath or affirmation, which is testimony under penalty of perjury or compelling evidence presented to a grand jury that produces a warrant that gets put to the sheriff, and then the sheriff would serve the warrant. Now, this could be a warrant for an arrest. An arrest is not anything more than being stopped. Maybe what's needed is some questions answered by you.
And the beautiful thing, guys, is document for any of you that are auditors that are going and doing these audits, police departments and city halls and so forth. This puts you into control. You take this document, walk in the door with it, no longer just start recording. Walk in the door, deliver the document, let them be aware that you are in charge. Once you hear this document, you'll understand. Now it puts them into a position where you're in control. You no longer say, I'm recording and I have a constitutional right. You're basically telling them that you are in control. They can't come against you. And if they do, they're subject to fines immediately. First trespass's minimum fee is $100,000 in charge of treason. Second trespass minimum fee and charge of $200,000 in charge of treason. All additional trespasses. So when they come at you, for example, the Long Island audit guy, Sean, they grabbed his wrist and his camera and threw him in jail here in Berwyn. We went down there to help him in that instance. He would have already had submitted these documents to them, and they would be given notice, and they would be
they would be doing this with full knowledge and intent against your rights.
Yeah, so you don't go in there anymore. Like, you guys can start going into these locations with your chest out in total charge and you can submit these documents maybe the day before you even arrive.
Absolutely.
Right? So
that's the best way. Go in and give them a little education.
Right, and you've got potentially a signed signature that they received them, right? Because you served them notice accordingly. You could serve them through the postal office.
No. Well, just,
or you could record it and do it yourself, and then that could suffice, right? Right, Ethan?
Yeah, I recommend that one man goes in and serves it under their audio, visual cameras in their lobby and record it and give a little bit of an education to them.
They could stand there in the hallway and say, "You've been served notice, sir," instead of saying, "Well, it's a constitutional right I have." You can say, "I've served you notice under the common law, so you can't stop me." I would suggest they start walking around the facility quickly, moving. Long Island audit guy kind of walks around slowly and say, do not stop my travels. I am traveling in a public place. Don't even stop me, because the document I'm going to read you states that they have 2-minute period to determine what their demise is.
Well, that's if it's a first encounter and they've never seen the document before. They haven't been noticed.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
carry
one of these with you after you submitted it to the receptionist. She has a copy, and then if anyone approaches you, you could say, "I've given this to your secretary. I've given this to your department. You've already been in receipt of this, and here's your warning. You cannot detain me." So why don't I read the document so people can realize just how powerful this bad boy is, because it is really powerful.
It is. Go ahead. Let her rip.
So here it is. Comes now, affiant, one of the people.
Affiant.
My bad. One of the people, as seen in all of the several states' Declaration of Rights and Bills of Rights, as in Article 1, Section 1, Indiana Constitution, sui juris, in this court of record do make the following claims: notice of liability and common law. Again, you want to get this document anywhere you travel and then drive with this document. If they pull you over, crack the window of your car, slide it out the window, and let them read it. And then you're in control at that point. So this document allows you to strip your license plates off your cars, get rid of your driver's license, and not have a discussion with these road pirates when they pull you over. Slide them the document and let the chips fall where they may, because they're not going to fall in their favor. That much I can tell you. So here's the remainder of the document. Indiana, Article 1, Bill of Rights, Section 1. We declare that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and a pursuit of happiness, that all power is inherent in the people, and that all free governments are and of right ought to be founded on their authority and instituted for their peace, safety, and well-being. For the advancement of these ends, the people have at all times an indefeasible right to alter and reform their government. Maryland, Article 6, that all persons invested with the legislative or executive powers of government are the trustees of the public, and as such accountable for their conduct. Wherefore, whenever the ends of government are perverted and public liberty manifestly endangered, and all other means of redress are ineffectual, the people may and of right ought to reform the old or establish a new government. The doctrine of non-resistance against arbitrary power and oppression is absurd, slavish, and destructive of the good and happiness of mankind. Now it's in bold print here. I declare and adamantly affirm the following. You may wish to provide care. In the event this is a stop, parentheses, arrest, you now have 2 minutes to make your decision. I will not be detained willingly. After the 2-minute time period expires, your insistence or demand of my detention and or any other requirement of me is under duress and protest to and of trespass of my rights. A trespass upon my rights by you and cohort will bind to incurring penalties upon one and all, individually, personally, professionally, and is equally and additionally binding upon a department, division, agency, association, or organization bearing responsibility for the individuals or personals' duty, conduct, and or actions. First trespass, minimum fee and charge, $100,000 USD and charge of treason. Second trespass, minimum fee and charge $200,000 USD and charge of treason. For all additional trespass, minimum fee and charge $1 million USD and charge of treason. Constitutionally, I am a free man by nature, male or female. I am not property to be administered.
These are
I'm not.
Tim. Separate these. These are individual claims. Start at the beginning with that first one that ends with male or female, and I put that male or female in there so that down in the verification section you don't have to worry about putting woo in front of man. You don't have to change his to her. The wording is just fine with that in there.
Got it. And here's what I was just reading this and thinking about it again. I've read it numerous times, but the charge of treason, you could also add deprivation of oath under color of law.
No. What do you need? What more do you need than treason? Just be done. I mean, of course, anything that is unlawful, you can bring charges against, but every one of those things you're listing is treason. Treason covers
other things. I'm just saying it puts more fear in the guy who might be reading it, whether it be a lieutenant or a guy wet behind the ears.
No. It's.
I get it.
All of those things that you're listing are treason.
Right. Oh, I know they are.
So just say treason. That just, look, keep it stupidly simple. The whole idea on all of this is to keep it so simple, because Americans, you just have to own this and you're free. That's all you need to do is understand that you're an American. You have an immunity from arrest. It is guaranteed in a trust indenture, in a contract.
Right.
Go ahead, Tim.
All right. So constitutionally, I am a free man by nature, male or female. I am not property to be administered. I am not in contract with the state or any agency, department, or division within or of the state. No entity nor man has title over or ownership of a free man. Administering a free man is repugnant to his freedom, liberty, happiness, privacy, security, and life. I have not been declared incompetent. You have been noticed by one of the people. Please take further notice.
Tim, I want to interject here. Some people are uncomfortable about making the statement, I have not been declared incompetent, and because they're living in fear and they think that the government controls them, and they're just going to send somebody over and drag you away and put you through some test and then declare you incompetent. That cannot happen, Americans. It would take an oath, so testimony under penalty of perjury, or compelling evidence that you're incompetent, presented to a grand jury that would then decide whether or not to follow through with a warrant and give it to the sheriff. So I am perfectly fine to state my competence, and I feel good about that. Now, if anybody for any reason is uncomfortable, that really doesn't give any strength that you don't already have in the words previous, and just go ahead and delete it out if it bothers you. But if you're like me, leave it in there and stand on it. All right, Tim, go ahead.
Yep. So please take further notice. I retain all rights to remedy and surrender none. May God bless you and your day. Amen. Then we've got Montana, Section 18, state subject to suit. The state, counties, cities, towns, and all other local governmental entities shall have no immunity from suit for injury to a person or property. This provision shall apply only to causes of action arising after July 1st, 1973. Washington, text of Section 12. Special privileges and immunities prohibited. No law shall be passed granting to any citizen, class of citizens, or corporation other than the municipal privileges or immunities which upon the same terms shall not equally belong to all citizens or corporations. Massachusetts. Every subject has a right to be secure from all unreasonable searches and seizures of his person, his houses, his papers, and all his possessions. All warrants, therefore, are contrary to this right, if the cause or foundation of them be not previously supported by oath or affirmation, and if the order in the warrant to civil officer to make search in suspected places, or to arrest one or more suspected persons, or to seize their property, be not accompanied with a special designation of the persons or objects of search, arrest, or seizure. And no warrant ought to be issued but in cases and with the formalities prescribed by the laws. And then he's got verification section here. I hereby declare, certify, and state, pursuant to the penalties of perjury under the laws of the United States of America.
Now, look, that's very important in a verification. The laws of the United States of America, not the laws of the United States, 10 square miles. Now you're in their jurisdiction. This is got you in common law court of record. Go ahead, Tim.
And by the provisions of 28 U.S.C. 1746, that all of the above and foregoing representations are true and correct to the best of my knowledge, information, and belief, executed in, and then he's got his county, Kalkaska, Michigan. These are things you would want to change and for your specific county and or wherever you're serving or this document.
No. It's where the document, it's where you live and where the document is created, because the notary jurat is in a location. So,
okay.
Right. So it's not where you're serving. You carry that anywhere. That's good all across America. And you can serve it on anyone at any time, anywhere, but always keep your original carry copies. Go ahead, Tim.
I see. Okay. And so executed in Kalkaska, Michigan on this day blank, you fill that in, of December in the year of our Lord 2021. And then you autograph this. You don't sign it, you autograph it. There's a difference. And then you've got notary as jurat.
And it says autograph. So it's very clear. Don't be confused on that. It says autograph where you put your autograph. We do not signature. Signatures are for business. So the notary jurat uses a signature. The free man uses an autograph. Go ahead, Tim.
Notary jurat, Maryland, Kalkaska County on this blank day of December 2021. And then this is where so-and-so notary republic or notary public would put their name here.
Yes.
Personally appeared. And then you put your name here, who provided to me on this basis of satisfactory evidence to be the man whose name is subscribed. We probably want to put man or woman, or is that
no, because we say male or female up top, right?
Right. My bad. Whose name is, you always had it all figured out, my friend.
Well, not always, but I'm always working on it.
Most of the time, right. Whose name is subscribed to within instrument and acknowledged to me that he executed the same in his authorized capacity, and that by his autograph on the instrument, the man executed the instrument. I certify under penalty of perjury under the lawful laws of Michigan State, and that the foregoing paragraph is...
See, now that's where you would put your state, whatever state you're in. I got Michigan State because I'm in Michigan.
Right. And then foregoing paragraph is true and correct. Witness my hand and official seal, signature of notary jurat, and then the seal. So they're going to sign it, seal, put their seal on there, and then you put this thing printed.
And make sure you get the stamp. Make sure you get the stamp, the seal, and the stamp, because many times in the old days they used a press, and it put such a good seal that seal actually shows up in a photocopy. But today they got these little hand squeezy things, and they don't put enough pressure, and that emboss will not come up on a photocopy. So you want the stamp and the seal from the notary jurat. Go ahead, Tim.
That's the whole document there. That does it.
Yep.
That wraps it up. So, but the power behind these documents, when we can explain how many ways in which you can use them, which I think is huge for these auditors to go in there and claim and let it be known that they have the power. And
What was that last constitutional provision? Read that one again.
The Massachusetts.
The one about the
unreasonable searches and seizures.
No, maybe it's the one above about money.
No law shall be passed granting any citizen class of citizens.
See, there's no umbrella. There's no umbrella for the claims. We discovered that in another reading. This talked about their liability to be sued. It was in the language of either the last constitutional provision or the one before.
Can you bring it up on your computer?
Nah. I don't know what'll happen to my stuff.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't done anything. I don't know how to share a screen or any of that yet.
I mean, I got subject to suit the state county.
There you go. There you go. That one.
Okay. So Montana section 18. That maybe people need to understand. I'm sure a lot of people don't realize, but when we read these states out, the people always get the benefit of the doubt, and they get the benefit.
No, not benefit of the doubt. There's no doubt. There is no doubt. There's no benefit of the doubt. This is your rights. And
I misspoke. Right.
Yeah.
The benefit of all constitutions is what I'm saying.
Ah, there you go.
We are the beneficiary of the contract. The constitutions are written as a contract between the government and the people, always protecting us, and we get the benefit of everything has to be viewed in our light, in the people's favor. Okay, when it comes to decisions that are made in any court, it always has to lean towards our favor, is what I mean. So when we read these things from different states,
it cannot violate your rights, and that's always in your favor.
We get to cherry pick the contents of each constitution, and it applies to all of the states. So if there's
no, wait. We're not cherry picking anything, Tim. We own every single.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the best statements are always the ones we like. It says in some of them, all power, all political powers with the people. Well, then other constitutions say all power. They drop the word political. So
right. So which we used here.
We're taking the cream of the crop of all the constitutions, and we take what's best for us, and it's ours. Is what I'm saying. We own what's best. If there's a state constitution that isn't written as favorable as another one, that's what I'm saying. Is that's why we have this Montana, Washington, Massachusetts on this document. Is people need to understand that you indeed cherry pick these. You pulled the best of the best.
I pulled some good ones. I can't say I pulled the best of the best. The first one is great because that says we have all power. These are all so good, but you own every one of them. And also on the website, oralhealthwithcannabis.com, on the service page where you're going to get this document, there's also a document there titled 47 states. It's actually 48 states of bills of rights and declarations of rights. And being in a Word document, you go up and click the find feature. It'll open up a little screen. So when you want to do research, let's say you want to know what does the constitutions in these 48 states tell me about immunity? Well, you type in immunity. And if you don't finish typing the word, it will bring up immunity and immunities. And you get an up and down arrow. And you just go through the document. You just hit whichever way you want to go, up or down. You hit the arrow, it takes you to the next word. Read how it's used, right? So now say we have the right to prosecute our own cases. Well, when I put prosecute or prosecutor in there, it only brings up a couple of states. Oh, but boy, is it powerful. So if you lived in 46 other states, you might not know that you have the right to prosecute your own cause in any court, which is where we are. We are in a court of record, the people's court, the highest court.
So the one that he wanted me to read was back to Montana, section 18. So this applies to you if you're in New York or Tennessee or whatever, because as I was stating, we need all the goodness of these constitutions in each state, because we are the United States. They all equally apply, but we always want to pick the best.
Well, no, we're not the United States. That's 10 square miles.
I meant the United States of America. Man, they got us all saying the wrong
Oh,
thing.
yeah, I know.
I like to just call it the Republic of America, and that's that. But they got us all saying
Hey,
the wrong
look,
thing.
Tim, I'll say this. When you're not standing before an administrative judge and have acquiesced to their jurisdiction, you can say United States or United States of America, USA, US, it's all fine, because nothing's going to hurt you. It's when you get in front of that administrative judge who has no authority to administer you and traps you, and they say, do you live in the United States? And almost everybody says, yes. Now you're in their jurisdiction. Now you're bound by all those statutes, acts, rules, regulations, and codes, which do not apply to you. And the judges know this, and the prosecuting attorneys know this, and they all share in the money that they pillage from us. And these British parasites are going to be gone soon as possible.
Right. So I'm going to read that one because you asked me to read it, and it does sum it all up. I mean, it says right here, Section 18, states subject to suit. The state, counties, cities, towns, and all other local governmental entities shall have no immunity from suit for injury to a person or property. This provision shall apply only to causes of action arising after July 1st, 1973. So in a nutshell, if you're an auditor and you're following Long Island audit guy, or you're doing those things, you have walked in and served them a document that says they're subject to the fines that we already discussed, and they're at the mercy. And you just basically served them, putting you in total control. So when they try and run you out of there, you just start to warn them. You say, you really need to stop what you're doing, because I've already served you in a court of record. You guys are our public servants, and you need to stand down. So you go in there doing a whole different approach where you are in command of that building. That is your building. They are your servants. You go in there with a whole different posture, and you take charge and walk out the door, and they can't fail because you're doing audits, and they're failing them miserably because you put them on notice and you take charge. And they can't fail because you are in control of the situation, and everyone gets A's because you go in there and let them know you're a man or you're a woman, and you are in charge of them, and they answer to you, and you will record whatever you want. And if they choose to come at you, they are going to suffer the consequences. So it's a totally different demeanor, an approach that you guys can make. And then with your followers, you can get everyone to fill out these documents and go submit them, and we can have hundreds of thousands of people by this time next week having submitted this very document to sheriff departments, police departments, all over the country. And they're going to just be like, the jig is up, they figured us out, the bar is done, and we're screwed. And that's how it can all go down if we all pull together and do the same kind of thing with Ethan's documents, because they're strong, they're powerful, they cut to the chase. He's made it cut and dry, perfect, superior. It's the superior law of the land. You tell them that. You tell them that when you walk in there. This is the supreme law of the land, and you don't have jurisdiction over me, and I've submitted you. Stand down. I have business to do. And then just begin to walk around that building. You've already submitted them. They had 2 minutes.
And also, you can step up your authority in two ways. One, you can become part of the People's Bureau of Investigation as an investigator. Two, you can become part of the Constitutional Accountability Committee, because then you can tell them that you are investigating and looking into their actions while they're on
and
duty.
It's one of the same. The two things you just said, the People's Bureau of Investigation and the Constitutional Accountability Committee. I mean, when you think about what you just said, they are one and the same, because if you look at the logo,
well, actually, no, because the accountability committee, I think, would be an arm, a community arm in every county.
Right.
And the investigators are throughout the country. Your Constitutional Accountability Committee, I think, should be a chapter within each county and an arm of the assembly. The grand jury can investigate anything for the people. And so if the grand jury wants something, let's say they want an accounting done. Well, a Constitutional Accountability Company could get over there and do some accounting. If they find something funny and it gets in over their head, then maybe they call in somebody from the Investigation Bureau who has investigative skills to be able to do forensic auditing and, like that. So, but anyways, it gives you so much more validity.
Right.
You have all power.
Right. We have all power.
And you have absolute right to do this, and they cannot touch you. Let me explain. Oh, my goodness. See, I'm going to explain. Do you see the difference? Let me explain. I'm a slave. I'm asking permission. This is my platform. How are you going to let me? People are always saying, let me, let me, let me. No, 30 years ago, nobody said, let me. The weatherman didn't say, let me show you the weather. The girl behind the desk didn't say, I pushed the button, let me go get your paper. No, the weatherman said, now I'm going to show you the weather. The girl at the desk said, I just printed off your paperwork. I'm going to go get it. I'm going by the coffee machine. Can I get you a coffee? They took authority for what they were doing.
Yeah, they've altered the language and turned everyone into milquetoast slaves. We're unslaving everybody. That's what we're going to do. We're unslaving everybody.
Amen.
So the documents that he said, I'm going to have links. We got the document page on the PBI website. I'll have links on there as well if you guys are always going or go to the PBI page so you can get to these documents, because people in my group are asking, I got to get a copy of this and so forth. So yeah, we'll make sure you guys can get this and print it and go disseminated everywhere. The thing is, we got to get those auditors are powerful. They are the frontline guys, and they're doing great work, but they're still doing it from a position that I would say is they're on the defense. Okay, they go in there.
Right now, they can be on the offense and understand this. Right. Understand what a trespass is. You're traveling, going about your business in your private capacity, and all of a sudden you got flashing lights behind you. So you pull over so they can pass, but they don't want to pass. Well, now you think they're after you. And of course, now you've been intimidated because you've watched so many movies and so many news broadcasts where these road pirates take their vehicle and ram it into yours and make yours flip or run off the road. So you've been absolutely intimidated, and you've been brainwashed from day one that they have authority over you, which they don't. So just the simple fact that they have done that, they have stopped you, that is an arrest before they even get out of the car. Now, that's $100,000 on him and $100,000 on the department and charge of treason. Now he's probably going to get out of that vehicle and approach you with loaded weapons, restraining equipment like handcuffs, maybe mace, taser, billy club, and armored up, bulletproof vest, heavy boots, maybe gloves, right? Very, very threatening. And then
Right.
he's going to give you an order. Well, that's 3 trespasses. We're already up to $1,300,000 on him and on the department. Oh, and we don't need a grand jury to collect that money. We can go right into their administrative system and follow through the procedures and collect the money.
So if that's awesome as far as getting pulled over, that's awesome information for everyone to know. Because I mean, we could have hundreds of thousands of people taking their license plates off by the first year if the right people get onto this, like the Stu Peters, McKays, they just take and get this information out to numbers of people. But my point is on these auditors, because I've been following you guys, because the PBI is the concept is to investigate local, state, and federal government. Okay, and basically all those auditors are kind of like PBI agents. They don't know they're in the PBI to a degree, but they're doing the work, the same work of the concept of what this entity is.
Right.
So what I say is they go in there, they don't record anything. They slide the document, because you don't need to intimidate anybody walking in there with the camera rolling initially. I know you have a right to do it, and that's the whole concept of what they're doing. But get this notice submitted first, and then begin to record. So now when they approach you, see, they just stop and talk to you. You could say, look, I'm traveling. Why are you detaining me? You're arresting me. When they get in front of you, because they're always getting physically in front of the Long Island guy. I watch him consistently, and they'll be in a hallway and they'll basically arrest him. They've arrested him, they stop him and talk to him, and then he has to explain to him his rights under the Constitution and so on and so forth, when he could be saying, listen, you've been served notice, don't do this, and just continue on his way. Say, you better go look at,
and also we have all power. We have all power, and we give the sheriff power to arrest. We don't give bylaw officers power to arrest. They're appointed. Their superiors provide that through statutes, acts, rules, regulations, and codes, which do not apply to you. So the only man who should be able to arrest you would be a sheriff. All these other bylaw officers, they shouldn't be near you for anything, period. They are there for commerce and for government. They are bylaw officers. The lawful officer is the sheriff. And the sheriff cannot stop you without a warrant. And a warrant must come from oath or affirmation through a grand jury. And you know what? They don't want to give us the grand juries to do that, because we want the grand juries to hold them accountable.
So this is a way to break the system, guys. This is a way to literally break the system, because they're going to be on a court of record. They're going to be found guilty of these charges that we outlined with these costs associated with it. And as time goes by, we'll all have them documented. And then when we assemble grand juries and so forth, we will come at them for these trespasses and charges of treason.
Amen.
Simple as that.
Amen.
So we're basically going to build a database, if you will, of all of us with our cases against them, where the system will have to come crumbling down at some point. It might not be 6 weeks from now, could be 6 months, could take some time, but at some point they'll all be inundated with so much powerful, superior documents in their faces that they're going to just cave into the fact and and acquiesce.
Right. And the other thing that I want to say is, look, we don't want anybody.
We take it back.
We don't want anybody falling on a sword. We don't want anybody getting crazy with their authority. However, everybody should understand the fact that they cannot have a power that we don't have. Since they have arresting power, you have arresting power. And you are duty bound to protect your life, liberty, and your country. So
any power they have was vested in them by us.
Amen.
They just pickpocketed more power than we gave them. And that's what we're in the middle of. The power that they get is given to us. It's our power from God. We vested into them, and they've abused their power. They've become power maniacs, just complete psychopathic maniacs with the power that we gave them, to where they've turned it around against us. So what we have to do is
they've usurped. They have usurped the power. They have usurped the power that we gave them.
Of course. Yeah, they usurped it. They pickpocketed us when we were sleeping over 3 generations. Both my father and father-in-law died slaves. They were born slaves, and neither of them knew it their entire life. They just thought they were paying a tax, and it was an important tax so we can have good roads and clean water, of which they're poisoning the water, and they're not fixing the roads because they're sending all of our money overseas because they're trying to destroy us, because we have privy information that what they're trying to do is they got the 10 miles of DC. Well, they're trying to take the whole damn country, and it's in the works right now. So we are warriors. Everyone needs to do this because we're frontline guys. All you auditors, all of the people that are watching this video and listening to us, we are the front line. We're the people, and we have to attack them in every way, shape, or form that we can. Otherwise, we're going to be at their mercy forever.
Well, I say we defend ourselves with every power we have. And when you need to defend yourself, you have your rights. You have your First and Second Amendment rights for a reason. And you have your rights from your forefathers. You have immunity. You basically have diplomatic immunity. That's a word you can understand. Diplomatic immunity, national immunity. And you didn't know it because it wasn't taught to you. Mark Levin sits there night after night looking all scholarly, always pointing to the federal Constitution.
Yeah, it's worse that they didn't teach it to us. They intentionally hid it from us.
Yes.
That's worse. We've been deceived on such a scale, and we have all power. We need to declare it and make it known. When the auditors walk in the door, they need to say, I have all power. I'm the people. Here's my notice of liability, and then proceed with business. And if you try and arrest me, here's what's going to happen to you.
No, if you trespass, just use the word trespass. Because that covers everything.
Have a conversation. You don't even get to converse with me. I did not approve this conversation. You work for me. I am not approving this conversation. I have business to do. I'm an independent journalist. I have business to do. I'm auditing this facility, and I have not granted you approval to have a conversation with me. If you ask me to speak to you, I will do so. But if you're going to stop me and tell me I can't do something, then you've arrested me, and you will be charged accordingly. We have to turn the tables on these people in such a scale that they just, like, their jaws are dropped, and they're like, oh my God, the people are taking over. Like we should.
We should. It's ours.
Yes, of course we should. We got to own it, like you say. We have to own this.
Right.
So everyone listening, you got to print this thing. You got to spread this. If you're an auditor, you got to.
Hey, we got a Metro Detroit audit saying, "Hey guys, hey Metro Detroit audit, are you catching this stuff?"
We heard he got arrested because he didn't have this document. That's why he got arrested. Because we understand, Agent Rob with the PBI has informed us that you were arrested and you have. You're in a jam. Well, you got to take this document and let it be known that you're not in a jam, that they're in a jam.
Right. So this will get you out of whatever administrative process you're in. You just own it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're just going to own it, and you're going to turn it all around on them. And an auditor, you're a tough guy. You're a patriot. You're going to stand on it. You're going to get
These
this.
guys are. They just need to be more empowered. We need to give them a battery in their backpack.
What power does this give them, Tim?
All power. Gives them all power. Bro.
Not just some power.
No, all.
Not just a little power. Not just all power over here, but no power over here.
No, it's all power.
All power. All
All
power.
power. As simple as that. Take your all power and go all power up.
And go hard.
Print these, go and start driving around, take your plates off, slide it through the window, and put them on notice with your document and let them know you're in check and you're basically in checkmate. They're in check as soon as you hand them the document, and if they want to proceed and give you any trouble, you put them in checkmate. So they're going to likely go, oh my God, I'm going to hand this over, or they're going to beg you for more than 2 minutes so they can get their superior on the line. You might be nice enough to say, it does say you have 2 minutes to make your decision, but I'll allow for you, since you are my public servant and you are supposed to be protecting the peace of us, I'll allow you to make a call to your sergeant, convey what's on this document, and then I'll proceed. But I'll just give you, by the grace of God, that opportunity to make that call. So you have them in control, and you take control of the situation, and you own them. Because why? How much power do you have? All power. So is really, Ethan's broken this stuff down. God has put us together because we're doing some things that are beyond the scope of comprehension in Michigan that the first part of this video talked about, and we're trying to break the bar on a national scale and take
global
10 miles back. We're going to take the 10 miles back. Let's just say that in DC, and we're going to abolish the bar. So be ready for that, everybody. But in the meantime, we got to fight on all fronts and adopt this. What Ethan has created with this document, take it and use it because you have all power, and start making claim of your power when you walk in and do these audits, man. And let's change the name. It's not an audit. It's informative. Change your name from auditors to what?
Constitutional Accountability Committee.
Informers. Yeah, a Constitutional Accountability Committee, and you are informing them then notice of liability and common law, and you submit and give them this document, and you take control. No longer are you doing an audit. You're letting them know that you're in charge, and you need to go about your day and travel freely and go about your business. So you don't have to stand there and have these conversations with them debating on constitutionality and have these guys telling you that, oh, you can't record in here. And I just watched another one of his today. They're saying you can't record past the windows. He's advising to put up shades and having a discussion about that. How about you just go in there and claim the power? All power. You work for me. You can't even stop me and talk to me. I have no interest in talking to you right now. I'm conducting a recording, and I'm serving you notice. I've got to go, and don't even give these people any control. As he did this video that I just watched, where somebody else didn't even get in the building, and they chased him away, and they wouldn't even allow him. And he was questioning them about the law and that he can't go in the building, and he was not assertive enough. Long Island, Sean is very assertive, but he needs more knowledge and education about what Ethan knows and what we know to be true, which is he has all power, and he needs to exercise that on them and turn the tables a little bit more, not aggressively, but just more. When you know the situation, that's when you have the power. Until you understand it, you have no power.
Okay, and the thing that's so beautiful, see, the Detroit Auditor says they would still try to do that, and laugh out loud. Yes, and you know what? Without the grand jury, we're going to have a difficult time holding them to account for treason. However, for the financial penalties, we can go right into the administrative system, and there is no limit. There's no umbrella for these counties. So That's where That's where you auditors are going to be so powerful because number one, you already stand and you didn't know you were an American. You didn't know what an American was. This document is going to make you an American and you know it. So now you can stand because you have all power.
Yeah,
And the thing is, auditors, what we would like is for you to hit an entire state in a week. Like the state of Michigan hit every sheriff's department, 83 counties in 1 week. Now, the whole state of Michigan has been noticed. And when you're there, under their audio and their camera, you order them to notify all the bylaw police that road piracy in this county has ended, or you will find yourself behind my bars in my county jail.
So, and guys, this all supersedes everything. So we hear all these things about declaring your sovereignty and becoming a state national. Well, that's all great. You can go through their process that they put you in fraudulently when you were born, deceitfully, and you can go about that process, or you can just declare that you're an American, and all that is defunct and de facto because it was done under false pretense, fraudulently. So I have contended all along that we don't need to all do this. We just need to, like Ethan says, to own it and take the power and let them know that we have the power. We don't need to change our license and write notes on the bottom of our license as to why we're out of their jurisdiction. We need to just declare it. We were never in your jurisdiction. Your bogus birth certificate scheme that you ran on me didn't apply because I didn't agree to it, and you tricked my mother into it. Okay? I have 3 kids that were tricked into it, as I did it all to them. So when it's fraudulent, it's repugnant. It has no. It's invalid.
It must be abrogated. It cannot stand as law.
It doesn't exist. So take this document and declare notice of liability, declare that you are immune, you have immunity to their schemes that they've been running on us. And we supersede all of that. That's why all these people speaking at these events, oh, you got to do it this way, you got to do it that way. All these guys telling you to get out of the system and get off the freaking water or whatever the. No, just declare that all that was invalid in the first place. And I'm not, by merely filling out these documents and changing your status, you're agreeing that it happened in the first place.
What do you mean changing your status? That is slave talk.
That's what I'm talking about. When you're doing that, you are basically
owning your status. You're not changing it. You're not reclaiming it. You're owning it.
Owning it, right? But what a lot of people are preaching out there on these tours and stuff, they're getting on the stage telling people to go to go submit documentation and do this.
Oh, there's so much bad teaching. It is incredible.
It's totally wrong. Just declare it, and then claim that their scheme they put us in at birth was repugnant and didn't exist in the first place. It's false. And step out of it by your demand as being a free human, free man or free woman. And we don't need to go change our license plate and get a passport that has some different that claims we're sovereign. We don't need to be sovereigns or state nationals, any of that.
You have diplomatic immunity when you travel. When you travel, you're a diplomat. You have diplomatic immunity in other countries. You never knew that, did you? I didn't.
The problem is, Ethan, is they're giving people credibility. They're giving their scheme credibility by trying to get out of the scheme on some kind of a document that's within their scheme. It's like, no, we're not in that. We never were. You guys did that fraudulently, and it doesn't count. It's like flush down the toilet.
Fraud eviscerates everything.
Yeah, we're plunging that down the can. We don't need to go fill out documents, submit them to all these people, and see what comes back from their determination within their corrupt system. We just need to step out of it, physically and mentally step out of it, say we were never in it in the first place. That's where I'm at.
Well, fraud eviscerates everything.
Exactly. A contract.
And it was all a trespass.
Our mortgages are fraudulent. Our car payments are fraudulent. Everything is fraudulent.
Everything's been a lie, except the sky is blue and the trees are green and you breathe air and you drink water.
That's about it. That's about all.
You know, and that women are nice for men. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, good God.
It's crazy how we keep on bowing down to their tyranny in different ways, whether it be the auditors and how they carry themselves into these buildings in a position of, well, I'm just letting you know that we actually have a constitution. Well, you got to just own it, like you're saying.
Own it, and they are on the hook. They're on the hook for financial and criminal charges in a court of record.
The thing that amazes me is everyone's scrambling to redo their status. It's like, well, why don't we just declare that the status they put us in is illegitimate? Like, no. Look, separate yourself from their system. Forget about their system. Understand that you came from your mother and your father. Your mother and your father came together in a private membership association. Private membership associations are outside of government. Private membership association formed government, owns the private membership association of government. When your parents came together, they created a private member association and they created you. You became a part of a private member association on your first breath. At birth,
and you are one of the people. And you have the best trust you could ever ask for. You got all these people telling you, reclaim your status, reclaim your identity, create a trust. Look, own your jurisdiction, and you realize you have the best trust ever. It's your state's constitutions.
Here's an analogy for you, Ethan. It's the equivalent of getting robbed, right? Robbed and beaten and abused, and then going to the thief who abused you and beat you and telling him, well, I kind of like to have my stuff back, and you took it from me, and I think you shouldn't have, and should I fill out some documentation to ask for my money and my firearms and the damages to my lip because you beat me? It's the equivalent of doing that. No, you got to stop bowing to them and let them know they're a fraud, and we never acquiesce.
Never, ever go into their court. Drag them into yours where you got all power.
Right. And Ethan could teach you that whole concept as well. You bring them into court. You bring them into your court. If the Long Island audit guy, we try to help him get over to the sheriff and file charges because he was working with in Berwyn there where they arrested him. He was working with them in the internal affairs department and reporting he was accosted and basically abused by the detective, right? And at that stage, we went and filed with the sheriff. But what he should have done, obviously at this point, as I'm learning, everyone's learning this, is he should bring him into court, his court. And
the People's Court. The People's Court, a court of record. All those courts where a judge sits behind a bench and they got gold fringes, those are administrative courts. A jury trial is an administrative trial where the judge administers and decides the law and the punishment. A trial by jury is a common law court of record where you have 12 judges as jurors, and the judge in the black robe His job is order in the court. Period.
Right. So, and the worst part is that these poor guys thought, again, the system being what it is, all these poor bar attorneys wanted to be doing the right thing and go to law school and have a great career. They spent 8 years learning basically legalese and what I would refer to and I call black magic, to twist the language to take more money from both sides of every argument and bilk them for years and years, because I've been a victim of it myself. I experienced where a court case that had no bearing, but they fought, and we all spent I had to spend $20,000 defending it, or $15,000 defending it. The other person spent $15,000 or $20,000 coming after me. Then to be told they needed to drop the case because they never had a case. They never had a case from the beginning. But they bilked us both out of nearly $20,000 because that's the system that they operate in, to have to do all these depositions when there was evidence that it should have been thrown out of court immediately. But they bilk us. So these poor attorneys go to 8 years of law school learning how to manipulate everybody with words, with word games. And then and when they get out of there, they're in a position where they find themselves trapped. Now they got,
and they're spineless. They're so spineless. They've been so demasculated that they won't stand up, and that's the most sickest part. That is the most despicable part, that they continue.
That how it operates. He explained it all, but I didn't get it until over time I've learned all this stuff and met Ethan, and now I get what he was saying. He kept telling me, Tim, you don't understand, the system is corrupt and it has to go through this process. And I'm like, you got to just get this original letter to them that abolishes me of everything. It did, and he's like, we got to go through the process of depositions before I can even do that, and all this expensive nonsense. When after talking to Ethan, all this could have been done in for $50 or $100.
I beat the United States Patent and Trademark Office twice. They denied my patent because of interference, intentional interference, to suppress this wonderful breakthrough. Then I beat them in court for less than $100 in a matter of weeks. I also beat the DEA the same way. I beat Gretchen Whitmer the same way. I beat the sheriff here in Kalkaska County the same way. They cannot rebut. So by acquiescence, they admit. And
they admit to guilt in the most.
What attorney can take on a big outfit like the United States Patent and Trademark Office and get it done for under $100 in a couple of weeks? The last case to change the scheduling of cannabis was for that little girl Charlotte, and it was a New York attorney. I can't remember his name right now, but millions of dollars were spent and years. In common law, we win quick. Common law is swift justice. We need the juries.
Amen.
And the sheriff is responsible for the grand juries, and the people are responsible for their government. So they are accountable. They are to be accessible, to be responsive, and to be open. These are all constitutional provisions.
So, Ethan, I'm just looking at the clock. We've been on an hour and a half. The original call was we called the undersheriff. They have orders to be at your place. It looks like 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Are they there?
I haven't heard anything.
No, so they're not. And we're not getting a return call from the sheriff or the undersheriff because they're getting bad advice from their ombudsman and probably an attorney who's telling them, run in fear of these documents. These guys know way too much. Let's pretend they didn't even approach us and see where it goes and hope to God that we survive. That's where they're at. So we should
be the first ones we're coming after.
Yeah, we want people to hear and listen to this message, print this document, go serve it up, tell all the auditors to get more empowered and lead them to this video so they can learn what this is about. If they have any questions, they can reach out to me at info@thepbi.us. That's an email, or even the comments here, whatever's needed. But people need to get this document, notice of liability, served. They need to travel with it when in their travels, so they can slide it through a half-inch of the window in a nice envelope. And then more importantly, the way to really wake people up is to get all the people that are following you, auditors, to see, oh my God, this is how you do it. And then you guys do it that way with this document. And then you implore all of your viewers to do the same thing. That's how we really crush these guys, because they're going to just be blown away and inundated with documents that you guys go and get to them. Everyone goes to get to them.
No, so what does Ethan travel with? Well, Ethan has a notice of liability. Now, mine's a one-page document because I made mine just for the state, and this was what I started with. To get a two-page document to get a document for all Americans, we went to 2 pages. We had a lot of extra space, so we added in a couple more constitutional provisions. They weren't necessary because we own them all. Now, this document right here, this one-page document that I'm showing on my screen, you can't really see it, but you can see it's a one-page document. This is a court of record document. I have put my vehicle into private. I have a video on this. Put your title and vehicle into private. I explain this in detail. It is very easy to do. Then, the best form of ID is an affidavit. If you happen to be able to access your live birth certificate where your name is not in all caps, as I did, I reduced the size of my birth certificate so it would fit in the blank space between coming into court, my constitutional provision, and my verification section. So now I have a court of record document that says I am not that corporate fiction. I have a court of record document that my vehicle is in the private. It can be removed from registry. I am no longer required ever. My straw man is out of it. Okay? You can't argue this. To argue this, they have to argue it under penalty of perjury in a court of record. They can't. It's unrebutable. Your notice of liability, they have to dispute your constitutional rights in a court of record. Impossible. There's no magician, there's no black magic to overcome this. I yield.
Right. So, yeah, these documents are critical, and this notice of liability is a no-brainer, and everyone needs to get on board, because this is how we hit them from the inside of the pyramid. We're working from the top down, because we are literally trying to take DC back and crush the bar in one fall swoop, working with actually a Rothschild who's turning against the family. I'm not going to get into all the details of that, but at the end of the day, he wants to give us the power back and return the 10 square miles of Washington, D.C. to the people of America. And he's turning on his family and all this wild stuff that, but we're trying to work that angle too. But meanwhile, the center of the pyramid is strong. These statutes, these cops, all these guys coming against our rights. We got to hit from all angles, from the bottom of the pyramid, the top of the pyramid, the middle of the pyramid. We got to squeeze them till they pop.
Right.
So everyone that's doing these audits needs to get on board this program. I'm going to get I want to cut it short because I want to record this. I want to get it to Sean with Long Island Audit. Tell him here's an hour 37 that you need to watch so that he can get an understanding and spread it through his downline, because he's got a lot of these auditors following him and a lot of followers. And if he can get an understanding of this, and we can maybe teach him individually on a phone call, or go live with him on a phone call. Maybe we can do that later today.
Yeah.
He can ask questions and we can address his questions. And then other people can see the questions that he asks and then he can go do this and then be that much more powerful when he walks in the door, own the whole situation, let them know they work for him, and walk out of there totally turning the tables on everybody.
Hey, Cody joined. Hi, Cody. I know Cody. I want to make a clarification. I showed you what Ethan travels with. Ethan did his paperwork months and months ago when he was figuring this stuff out. And I can tell you, you only need the notice of liability because an affidavit is the best form of ID. Your affidavit, you confirmed you are the man before the notary jury. End of story. You got an affidavit confirming your identity. You don't need to do the birth certificate like I did. You don't need to take your vehicle out of registration. As a free man, you can drive a vehicle that is registered. You have all power.
Right.
So all you need is the notice of liability. That's it.
Right. It's going to replace, I've been traveling with it like a, maybe not quite a half inch of documents, case law, and all kinds of stuff regarding traveling that I got from Rob back in the day and other people. And I've been traveling with that, but this document's going to replace that. My intent was to hand that document to the arresting officer and say, I think you need to get your supervisor on your behalf, and then hand him that folder. Say you're free to go look at this in your car, scan through these documents and case law regarding my right to travel, and then it behooves you to get on the phone with your superior because I'm going to come at you for deprivation of my rights and arresting me and stopping me. So I had similar thing, but this document sums it up, and like you said, it makes it to where everything else is null and void, and we have to stick to that. We need to stick to our guns on that, and we don't need to go redo documents in their corrupt system to get out of their corrupt system. We just declare their system as being corrupt, and that we aren't under that system, and we never were. It was void and invalid from day one. So let's wrap this up so I can get this to Sean and immediately get a hold of him, see if he can find a time to watch it, and then maybe we'll get back on live with questions that he might have, so that he can adopt the concept into the auditing program and turn auditors into liability of common law noticers and informers and constitutional experts go in there and own their rights. So I'm going to cut out here. Ethan, been great with you, brother. I'm sure we'll talk very soon.
Right. I may have to check.
I'm going to hold it, Sean, ASAP. We talked about that last night. That needs to be done.
I might need to change the title on this. I'm not sure. I think I titled this for the Garrison Commanders, but it doesn't matter. But we still have that to follow up on too. So maybe we can get that call done this afternoon.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks for stopping in. There's like 16 people here. Kathleen, thanks for your comments. Kathy, she got Ralph. Ralph's there. Underground auditor. We got an auditor here in the house. Auditor, the underground auditor. He beat his disorderly and trespass. I told the sheriff to get the F out of here as he was pulling away in his cruiser. So we got people that are doing the audits. So you guys got to adapt this and start making it happen. It's just we want to give everyone more power because we have all power. So we don't want to give it to them. We need to inform you that you already had it. You always had it. They just took it away when we didn't know. We got pickpocketed. And that's it. We got to just let everyone know you have all power, guys.
Party is over. Party's over for the bar.
Hey, Ethan, God bless you, brother. Thanks for everything you're doing as far as spreading the word on the common law expertise that you are. This man is a beast. I've been searching for the beast of the beasts, and Rob's been serving up guys. Hey, look at this guy. Look at this guy. This guy actually came from the vaccine police, conferenced him in because Christopher's looking for help down in Louisiana, take down a governor. And I just met this man, and we probably talked in the last week I'm guessing like 40, 50 hours or something. So
Yeah, but it's
we're
not
on the
me.
same page.
It's not me.
We're on-
It's not me. It's God.
Yeah, God's put us
I
together.
wasn't capable of the things that I've done. The
Ditto.
knowledge that just poured into me, the God speaking to me, steering me. This is God's
Right.
work.
Of course. Same here. Absolutely. Everyone's getting connected because we all have different abilities and different, we bring different things to the table. And as one, we do have all power. So as individuals, it's a lot harder to convey the power and assume the power. That's the whole concept that PBI exists, is so we just have something we can adopt a 3-letter entity and use it against them, you know?
Oh, auditors.
Auditors
I want you to stop in the VFW halls when you're traveling. I want you to talk with the vets. They signed up, risked their lives for their country. And the military has done nothing but betray them. They are frustrated and they're afraid of losing their pensions. They're afraid of being treated worse. Everybody's looking for a way to do the right thing. And there are men that will stand up. They just need to know how to do it. So stop in the VFW halls if you get a chance and talk with them and let them know what real Americans they are and how to own it. By God, amen.
All right, guys. God bless. We'll try and get back live later if we can get Long Island in the house. Maybe he can bring us into his live stream with all his viewers, and we can just convey the message to a larger audience, because that's what we need to do, is spread the word that we have all power, and here's a document that's going to help you assume that all power status and let it be known to everybody. So I'll be ringing him up, and then hopefully we'll be able to get back live with a discussion with questions from him, and help all you guys take and assume control of the people who are oppressing us. All right. God bless everybody. I'm cutting out.
Thanks, Tim.
See you, buddy.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, folks. Cody, are you still there? Cody, would you like to be a wrench? Be a moderator for me. Take out comments that don't belong. Take out the trolls. Just when you're available and I'm doing a live, you can come in and be a wrench. You don't have to be there for everyone. Cody's someone I can trust. I know Cody. I've known Cody a while. Yeah, maybe Cody left. Well, y'all, that's your update. God bless everybody. We're going to be back soon with more.